Hello everyone, I'm Anomadarshi Barua. Today I'm going to present my WIP abstract. The name of my WIP abstract is Hierarchical Temporal Memory-Based Machine Learning for Real-Time Unsupervised Anomaly Detection in Smart Grid. The main contributions of our work is that we have proposed neurocognitive inspired architecture, which is named as HTM, for anomaly detection in smart grid for micro PMU data in real time. And this proposed architecture is compared with a total of 3 state-of-the-art real-time anomaly detection algorithms. And we have shown that our proposed algorithm is far better than the other real-time anomaly detection algorithms. Before going to our main work, we need to formulate our problems. The micro-PMU data that is available in the smart grid that have some characteristics. The first characteristics is that micro-PMU provides time series data. That means this data can be observed one at a time with a sequential order. And for this property, this data is not suitable for batch learning as a full data set is not available. So the traditional batch, mini-batch based machine learning model may not be a good fit. The second property of this micro-PMU data is that they are inherently dynamic and their statistics can change over time, which is known as the concept drift. So the state of the models, state of the machine learning models are not inherently adaptive, and to make them adaptive, we need to do multiple training, retraining. The third property of micro-PMU data is that as they have the concept drift, inherent concept drift inside of them, the learning from this micro-PMU data should need to be supervised without human intervention. The set of the ML models require manual parameter tweaking to handle this concept drift effectively. So the machine learning models, the traditional machine learning models may not be effective for anomaly detection in the micro-PMU data in the smart grid. So what we need an algorithm that should be able to learn in one pass fashion in a continuous and unsupervised way. And secondly, we need an algorithm which has the property that can handle the concept drift. So we are proposing HTM algorithm to address the aforementioned challenges because this algorithm has comparative accuracy. It can learn in one pass fashion with an unsupervised way. And this algorithm is also a real-time algorithm. And as far as I know, our work is the first that demonstrate that anomaly detection in smart grid can be performed using this HTM in a real-time unsupervised fashion. Now we are going to explain about the HTM architecture. HTM architecture is inspired by the neuroscience. We know that our neurocortex has biological neurons, and these biological neurons has three different dendrites. They are apical dendrites, distal dendrites, and proximal dendrites. The activities and functionalities of these biological neurons are modeled in the HTM algorithm. The model is known as the HTM neuron. HTM neuron has the similar functionality as the biological neuron. This HTM neuron is the building block of the HTM algorithm. In the right-hand side of this figure, you can see a single layer of the HTM. This single layer has encoder, has a spatial pooler, and has a temporal pooler. These three are the main components of the HTM layer. We are going to explain in details about these three basic building blocks as of the HTM single layer in the following slides. Before going to explain encoder, spatial pooling, and temporal memory, we need to know a new concept which is known as SDR. SDR stands for Sparse Distributed Representation. SDR is so important in HTM because it is the basic representation in every layer inside the HTM. SDR is a different representation than other standard computer representation such as ASCII. What SDR actually is, it's a large array of bits. In that array, there are lots of zeros and a few ones. Uh, the the percentage of number of ones in the SDR is less than 5%. Each bit in this SDR has its own semantic meaning. That means that if two SDRs have few overlapping active bits or one bits, then we can say that those two SDRs have similar meanings. If you see the right hand side of this slide, you can observe that the encoder converts the incoming input signal into an SDR. What is the motivation of this conversion? That's what we are going to discuss in the next slide. The functionality of the encoder is motivated by the human sensory organ. Human sensory organ generates some form of SDR from the input signals. Encoder also do the same. Let's consider a human ear as a motivating example. In our human ear, we have cochlear hair cells. This cochlear cells has its own range of frequencies to respond, and the ranges overlap with other nearby hair cells. This property motivates the encoder to generate SDR. So an encoder encodes semantically similar data with overlapping active bits. An encoder also ensures that same input should always produce the same SDR array as output all the time. Now let's consider an example on how an encoder encodes data. Let's assume that we want to encode values from 0 to 50. The first bit of the encoder will be active for the values 0 to 5. The next bit will be active for values 0.5 to 5.5. The next bit will be active from the values 1 to 6 and so on. Let's consider two numbers 7 and 10. We want to encode 7 and 10 by using this encoder. After the encoding process, the encoded representation of 7 and 10 are shown in the right side of this slide. If we compare the encoded representation of 7 and 10, we can see that these two representations have shared 1 bits with each other. The main reason for sharing these 1 bits is that these two numbers are close each other. In other words, these two numbers have semantic similarity. If we would compare the encoded representation of 7 with 13, we'll find that these two representations don't have any sharing 1 bits. This also ensures that encoder encodes semantically similar data with overlapping 1 bits. After the encoder block, we are going to explain the spatial polar block. Spatial polar block has a learning algorithm inside. Spatial polar receives the SDR that is coming from the encoder as its input and converts this SDR into another SDR. In this manner, in doing so, the spatial polar extract different features from the input SDR and converts those features into a new feature domain by using a novel learning algorithm that is known as the spatial pooling algorithm. In the feature domain, a single SDR should be used to represent similar SDR from the input domain. The special pooling learning algorithm is an unsupervised competitive learning algorithm that uses a form of vector quantization. This algorithm is an iterative online approach-based algorithm. That means that the learning in this algorithm occurs after the presentation of each input. That means that special pooler learns by seeing one data at a time. That means that it is also is capable of learning in one pass real-time fashion. The next block of the spatial pooler is the temporal pooler block. Temporal pooler block or temporal memory is responsible for learning sequences and making predictions. This algorithm works by following the Hebbian rule. The Hebbian rule says that the connections between two cells get formed or get stronger when they were previously active. This Hebbian algorithm also say that through the formation of these new connections, a sequence may be learned. The temporal pooler use these learned sequences or use this learned knowledge to predict future data. This is the whole pipeline of the HTM model for anomaly detection. If you start from the left, you can see that different input signals like the current magnitude, time of day, day of signal are converted into three different SDR by using the scalar encoder. The spatial pooler pulls the spatial information or learns the spatial information from this SDR and produce another SDR that is given as an input to the temporal pooler memory. The temporal pooler learns temporal sequences from this SDR, which is given as an input from the spatial pooler and predicts the future data. In other way, at t-1, the temporal pooler predicts the data for time t. And when the actual data comes at t, the predicted data and this actual data are compared with each other, and this algorithm finds the prediction error. If this prediction error is greater than a threshold, then that event at time t is denoted as an anomaly. Now we are going to say about our dataset for anomaly detection algorithm in this work. We use the open source real-time current magnitude data. This dataset is generated by using micro-PMU sensors. Those are installed in a Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory lab in a 7.2 kilovolt distribution grid. The length of there are more than 1 million plus data points in this dataset. So after training our model with this dataset, we have found that our algorithm can detect anomalies very well. If you look at this slide, you can find that our algorithm have detected spatial anomalies as well as temporal anomalies from the micro-PMU data. For example, in Thursday, there are 5 spatial anomalies which are denoted with red bars, and in Saturday there are 3 temporal anomalies, which are denoted by red bars also. We have compared our algorithm with another 3 state-of-the-art real-time anomaly detection algorithm in this slide. If you look at table 1, you can see that HTM can detect anomalies in unsupervised way. It can also detect anomalies in spatial and temporal domain, and this algorithm is completely online. But the other 3 algorithms, like the random cut forest, Bayesian change, and relative entropy, they are not online, and all of them cannot detect spatial and temporal anomalies altogether. We have also tabulated the anomaly detection performance by using the Numenta anomaly benchmark, which is tabulated in table 2. From table 2, we can see that the HTM has around 98% accuracy, which is higher than the rest of the 3 algorithms. So we have presented our work in this presentation, and we are continuing to finish our work and extend our work to get more reliable results and more reliable performance from the HTM. We are also working on comparing the HTM with more real-time anomaly detection algorithms. We are also working on using the HTM to predict the sequences in future that can be used for diagnostic controls in smart grid. So these are our most important references for our work, and we are happy to take any questions. If you have any queries, please feel free to ask. Thank you. Stay safe in this corona situation. Bye bye.